Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's me, Mama Do, here at PassionWaterTarot for another missing person, criminal case, intuitive reading. This one's got me stumped. A lot of times you can read these cases and see where the point of separation clearly is at. And that helps to bring theories into the case. But let's talk about this person a little bit. Oops, hit the wrong button. There we go. Laresha, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Laresha Deana Walker. And she went by Deana. Yesterday I did a missing person on her mother who has been missing for 5 years. Well, this young lady has been missing now for 23 years. She went missing November the 19th of 1999. That was the time she was last seen. And also missing from Nashville, Tennessee. She's considered endangered missing. She's a female. She's African American, black. Her date of birth is January the 2nd, 1976. At the time of her disappearance, at the time that she vanished, she was 23 years old. She would be 45 now. Deana stood 5'7" and weighed between 190 and 200 pounds. So she was a little thick. Not exactly the kind that if you're going to kidnap somebody, she's most likely not going to stand out as someone you want to kidnap. Like I said, she's 5'7" and she's between 190 and 200 pounds. So she's not going to be somebody easy to overpower. Now, she did have a heart condition and required her to take medication, and her prescription was discovered in her home. So it was not with her when she disappeared. Distinguishing characteristics: she's an African American female with black hair and brown eyes. She goes by her middle name, Deana. So it's Deana Walker. Laresha Deana Walker. One of her upper front teeth is capped or trimmed in gold and inscribed with the letter D for Deana. Her ears are pierced and she has a surgical scar on the left side of her chest as a result of a heart operation. Now, whenever you're looking her up, different agencies may be spelling her name differently. So be aware of that. Who's investigating this disappearance? Metro Nashville Police Department. And I've got 3 numbers listed for them: 615-862-7557, 615-862-7546, and 615-742-7463. Now let's talk about the last time she was seen. She was last seen in her hometown of Nashville on November the 19th of 1999. She dropped off her 2-year-old son at her sister's residence on Gale Street for the night. She said she planned to drive her car to Murfreesboro, Tennessee the following morning to get a mechanical repair estimate. Murfreesboro, from where she lived at on Ben Allen Road, is approximately 47 minutes away. And from what I can see on the map, it's only crossing one major source of water if you take the routine route. And that's the Cumberland River, okay? That's always important to me. How many sources of water, especially whenever someone's traveling. So she dropped off her son at her sister's. Then she talked to her dad on the phone that night between 9:30 and 10. And a neighbor reports something unusual. Because please let me explain. Deana only lived in her residence for less than a month. But the neighbor reported hearing Deana arguing with someone outside her home. And that's the last contact that's reported. Now, I have questions about that. Why do I have questions about that? First off, she's lived there less than a month. How do you know it's her? Did you look out your window? Okay, well then, is this a male or a female she's arguing with? What's their description? What were they driving? Who is this person? If all you heard was voices, are you sure it was her voice? Could it have been another female there? Could it have been more than one person? We're getting no details. I think I've been everywhere on the internet looking for that detail. Who was she arguing with? Why were they arguing? If you can hear it, more than likely you're hearing why they're arguing. But that's just a source of not getting the picture painted thoroughly for us to find out exactly what happened, where she went. So the next day, she doesn't pick up her son. She doesn't contact her loved ones. But now it's November the 20th, 1999. So her sister goes over to her house. And what gets me is that on this particular article, which I'm looking at right now, which is the Charlie Project, they say she lives on Edwards Avenue. And if that's true, let's go back over here, because another article had told me it was Ben Allen Road. So let's look up Edwards Avenue in Nashville. See what kind of a route we get here. We're still getting very similar route. It's a townhouse, I do know that. And once again, the only large water source to be going across is the Cumberland River. The rest looks like a straight shot, pretty much. Alright, so back to the story about Laresha Deana Walker. So the sister goes over and checks out her house. She notices the house is empty. Everything looks fine, except for two things. The screen was locked. How did the sister get in if the screen is locked? Did she have a key for a back door? This is a townhouse, which normally townhouses have a front and back door. And the music was blaring. The lights were on. They had been left on, but the music was really loud. So the sister turned down the volume on the stereo and left the apartment, or on the radio. It doesn't say if it was a stereo or radio. And she comes back the next day on the 21st. And still nowhere to be found is Deana. So at that point, she notifies her mother and her father, and they summon the authorities. The mother, who was Wanda Faye Walker, who went missing 5 years ago, and they find no connection between these two cases, was the one who actually reported Deana missing. The authorities discovered that the clothes that Deana was wearing the day of her disappearance was inside her residence. So what was she wearing? Pajama pants? Shorts? T-shirt? Nothing seemed out of place. As if she had come home, took off her clothes, changed into something different, and was relaxing for the night, playing a lot of loud music. In her maroon 1995 Oldsmobile Achieva with Tennessee license plate number 419ABG was gone too, and it's never been recovered. It has a long scratch on the driver's side, and they didn't say what mechanical issues the car was having, that she was taking it to this place to get an estimate on the 20th. She was employed at Peterbilt Motor Company in Nashville. Her family said she found a job through a temporary agency called the Nashville Career Advancement Center. Deana is described as a very responsible person who was very protective of her son. And her family stated she was a private person, so they didn't know all of her friends. But they don't believe she would have left without sharing her plans. She was close to her family. The police believe she was abducted. They're not naming anybody in the abduction. Now, I did read on another page where there was blood discovered. Not large quantities, but blood discovered outside her home. And they did testing for DNA, but it's unclear what the results of the tests were. Whether these proved to be Deana's blood droplets. Nashville Police Department is keeping this case very close to the vest, which leads me to feel that they have a suspect and they're just looking for more evidence in order to make sure they get a good conviction on the person. The Metro Police actually made a statement that all indications are she was a good mother and would have never left her child. They went in there and they took her. The way her home looked 1 second before she was kidnapped is the way it was, the way police found it. They did not. What the police were trying to convey is this was not a robbery gone wrong. Nothing was taken. There was not a huge struggle within the home. There's no evidence of that. The house looked normal for how she would keep her home. So what happened to Deana? Where is she? Where's her car? Many people can say, well, car's got to be somewhere. Yeah, it does. It has to be somewhere. But where? Who dismantled it? Who sunk it into the river? Where's the car? What did they do with Deana? Who was arguing with Deana? We're going to ask Spirit about this. But before we get started on that, for all the friends, families, soulmates, soul tribe members, a card of affirmation. This is for investigators as well. Let me turn the camera around so I can make sure I'm showing you the cards correctly. There we go. Today I am healthy. Today my mind, my heart, and my soul are one healthy being. It's like a message from Deana. To be of one mind, one heart, and one soul. And stay healthy thinking. What has happened is very tragic, but you can't let it eat you up and absorb you. Be there to be supportive of her child and all of her other family and friends. Now, the synopsis for what has occurred. Well, this is Island Time Wellness card. And it tends to show us a synopsis of who took Deana from her residence, what happened that led up to this, and where she's at now. And we have heartbroken. By the way, she wasn't dating anybody, not that the family knew of. Heartbroken. Deeply hurt, sad, separation, breakup, feeling lost, grieving, and mourning. Wow. Yeah. I don't feel that energy is coming from Deana. I feel like it's coming from the predator, from the culprit. That they felt rather rejected and kicked to the curb by Deana. And the romance card for this reading is forgiving and learning. This is another message from Deana to all those invested in this reading. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. As you release and heal the past, what has happened has happened. Doesn't mean that the person should get away with it. Not at all. No, they need to pay for their sins. They need to pay their karma bill. But Deana does not want her friends, her family, and her loved ones to allow this to fester within them and cause them not to be able to have happy moments. The Archangel card is teaching and learning. Wow. That was forgiving and learning. This is teaching and learning. Archangels Zadkiel, keep an open mind and learn new ideals, then reach. Then teach these ideals to others. Teach them how to deal with grief, to deal with these obstacles. This is so very deep energy coming from Deana. And Deana wants everyone to be able to be happy and know that the truth will prevail. Yes, it's taken a very long time to get here. So, what would Spirit like to tell us regarding the disappearance of Laresha Deana Walker? The devil. Wow. The devil. Well, we already know that Deana is a Capricorn. And a lot of times the devil refers to Capricorns. And this has to do with some type of an addiction. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, overeating, over complaining, allowing negative energies into your environment. Being overpowered by this negative energy. Dana really felt she could protect herself from this person. Although Dana did see them as dangerous. You see the volcano? The volcano is erupting. I'm on the right side there. There's the volcano. She knew that this was festering, that this person was trying to stay within her energy to control things. What else would you like to reveal to a spirit regarding the disappearance of Dana Walker? 10 of Wands, the Hierophant in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Really? I'm trying to put this where you can see it. So it was a very big burden. She was trying to carry it alone, trying to move forward while struggling uphill, carrying this burden that wasn't hers to carry. The Hierophant in reverse. She did not want to reach out for assistance. She really didn't. And that was why nobody knows that this person was giving her a hard time. I see this cat on her back, like it's her son, is who she should be carrying, but all these other burdens was not hers to bear. I don't feel like this was a friend of hers or a lover. What else do you have to tell us about the disappearance of Dana Walker, Spirit? Oh, so she tried to bring balance to the situation. That's the Two of Pentacles. Trying to make a decision. What's the best thing to do here? Yeah, the seas are already rocky. Things are not balancing out. Things seem to be taking a heavier motion than necessary. That's part of the problem here. It's more than necessary. Strength, being overpowered by them, demanding their way. Page of Swords. A message. Some type of a message. Somebody gave her a message telling her what their expectations were. And the Four of Cups in reverse. I'm going to tell you, I think this is a crazy neighbor. I believe this is somebody from her neighborhood. It could be the person that reported the argument, and that's a false report, especially considering how little detail is getting out about it. They wanted smoke and mirrors to be. Yeah, that's the message. The message is that false reported the argument. or not telling the truth about the argument, not being honest about it, only telling a little bit. You know who she was arguing with. How was Deana abducted from her residence? Spirit, was Deana abducted from her residence on the 19th of November, 1999? Temperance, really. So Deana tried to apologize to this person. She didn't want these troubles with this person. And she really couldn't figure out why they were fingering her. Why they'd set their mark on her. So how was she abducted? What about her disappearance? How did that take place? How did they overpower Deana? Moving to that location was a heavy burden. She found out the neighborhood was not what she thought it was. It was not in her best interest to live there with her son. It wasn't safe. The full. So this person just got mad and grabbed her out of nowhere. I see a stick. They hit her with an object to subdue her. What else can you tell us about the disappearance of Deana Walker's spirit? Investigators, please look back into this neighborhood. Seven of Wands. Yep. She felt like she was fighting a losing battle. After that, she was initially struck. They kept striking her. Can you clarify the Temperance, the Fool, and the Seven of Wands spirit? And mind you, that's two major arcanas. We have, wow, we have 5 major arcanas out here already. 6 if you include the clarifying card. That's a lot. Because this was a very significant ordeal. Three of, yeah. There was another, it was not a friendly neighborhood, just so you know. One person thought they were in charge of the whole damn place. And that everybody had to do what they said or get out. Wow. This person is very domineering, very aggressive. And this person did not like the idea of Deana being in this neighborhood. So where is Deana now, Spirit? The 8 of Pentacles in reverse. the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the Five of Wands in the upright, the Knight of Wands in the upright, and the Five of Cups in the reverse. Wow, really? Okay, so they didn't put any plan into this. They did not. The person did not plan on attacking her this evening. But what was done was done. I see the water. I see that she was put into the trunk of her vehicle and driven to the water. And the person had no regret over it. The person has no guilt over it. This person does not have the same heart that you and I have. They do not feel remorse for what they've done. But I see that she was placed in the trunk of her car. I don't see that she had to be tied up. It was a struggle for them to get her there. Yeah, there was the tower, it fell. That was the moment that they overpowered Deana and locked her away in the trunk of the car. Ten of Swords caused the destruction of Deana. I see that she drowned. That when the car entered the water, she was still alive. But she didn't have a way out. She was injured. And there's more water in this picture. You'll see the water in this picture and the water in this picture. Because this person doesn't have remorse. They still feel that they should be in control over wherever it is that they live. And that they're the creepy neighbor. Yeah. They are the creepy neighbor. They are the neighbor who will call the city on you the moment you don't mow your yard. Or that if you put your trash out a day early, they're the neighbor that's going to write you ugly letters and put on your car windows and threaten you. Is there any way that we can find evidence, Spirit, as to where Deana is, where the car is located, what river is she in, what body of water she is located in? Queen of Wands in the upright and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Mm. Wow. So everybody in the neighborhood was starting to like Deana. And they saw her as a good neighbor. And this person didn't see that because Deana wasn't bowing to them. And pretty much that's what it was. She wasn't fearing them like they wanted to be feared. Deana wasn't one to cow from people. She absolutely would stand up for her rights. But she didn't share a lot of this information with others. So her family may not know that this person was giving her a hard time in the neighborhood. Please clarify the Queen of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, Spirit. Now this person has a drinking problem at the very least, but we have the devil out here. So they can absolutely have other addictions and mental health issues. They absolutely have control issues because they can't handle themselves. Five of Cups in reverse. Again, double confirmation on that. They do not have remorse. This person does not respond to situations the way you and I do. Okay, so let's see what the card of advice is for this reading. I feel like we've gotten a lot of the answers that we were looking for. This river, once again, it's the Cumberland River close to the neighborhood, needs to be dragged. Maybe Adventures with Purpose will go out there and pull vehicles from the bottom of this river to bring closure to the family. Yeah, she was a brave soul, all right. Becoming braver. Resilience, experience, growing stronger, and a fresh perspective. Well, she was being a good mommy, and being a good daughter, and being a good friend, and taking care of her business. You have been tested. The development of strength and resilience through the courageous meeting of challenges. The demonstration of great character. The acknowledgement of how much you have learned. The ability to cope with so many little things due to a great ordeal endured with grace, dignity, and humor. Testing times show true character. And it did show her true character. That she was not going to be cowed by this person who's so weak that they intentionally will hurt another. I have a question though. Spirit, how did this person get home from the river after they disposed of Deana's car in the river? Now, mind you, this is 1999. We have a lot of cards here. Wow. So let's find out what they are. King of Pentacles. They called a friend. Phone home, E.T. Page of Cups in reverse. Came up with an excuse as to why they were out there alone. The Hangman. Yeah, that was thinking on their feet. Not wanting to bring any attention to themselves. Death in reverse. Didn't want what they have done to be discovered. Page of Wands. Page of Wands. A message. I feel like this person is involved in giving the false report to the police that she was arguing with somebody. Even if they just said, oh yeah, I did, I heard that argument. No, no, Bubba, you were the argument, okay? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Even though they have no remorse, they lost their abundance. For those that respected them in the neighborhood, those who feared them, no longer feared them. They had an ideal. The neighbors who were living there had the ideal of what had happened. The Lovers in reverse, yeah. This was not somebody who she dealt with. This was not a lover. Six of Pentacles, very uneven, unfair, unjustified situation. And the Nine of Wands. So they were looking for an escape of how to get back home. Well, they called a friend. They made up a lie about it. And they knew there was no hope of her being found or her car being located. So somebody came and picked them up that night. And the clarifying cards are the Hermit in reverse. Yeah, they weren't. They made the plan of getting rid of the vehicle with her in the trunk of it. And whenever they got the car off into the river, then they made the plan to make a phone call. And they actually called a female. I really feel like this person is a male, the predator, and they called a female. Someone they thought highly of, someone who they felt was somebody who was abundant. I have the impression that it's their ex or their current lover. King of Swords in reverse. Somebody that wasn't going to ask them too many questions, so it could have been their child. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Knowing that there was no way for them to get caught. They felt no, I'm not going to get caught because she can't come up from the bottom of that river. And that car's not going to be found. She's gone. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Four of Wands in reverse. And the Queen of Swords in reverse. Wow. They silenced her. And that was their intention at that point. And that Four of Wands is that 1111 card. That foundation for happiness. They knew they took that mother away from that child and they silenced her. But that was taken away someone who was standing up to them, and they couldn't handle that ideal. This is a very simple-minded, small-minded, out-of-control, emotional person. And trust me when I say they never have nothing nice to say about anybody. They are the ones who start rumors, spread rumors, and are the source of rumors. And they are the ones who will write the ugly note and put it on your car window or put it on your front door and not sign their John Hancock to it. Yeah, that's the person. So, the most likely outcome of this reading is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Now, what's the Two of Pentacles? It's not knowing which way to go, what to do, how am I going to get there. But when the Two of Pentacles is in the reverse, it's bringing a balance. It's bringing justice. It's bringing everything to the surface. And it's clarified by the King of Cups. Somebody who is very emotionally stable is looking into the situation and is recognizing the imbalance of that neighbor, of the person in the neighborhood who wanted to control Deana. Alright, that's it. Thank you for being here today. If you have any questions that you would like for me to ask Spirit regarding Deana, Laresha Deana Walker, let me know. And I will be happy to get back with Spirit regarding her. But at this point, Spirit is guiding us that her car is in the river. She's in the trunk of it. And it's all because this person is very narcissistic and a coward. Very much a coward. And they will never confess their sins. They will have to be captured. Which it does look like they are going to be captured because there are people investigating this case once again to bring justice to Rayvon. Rayvon is Dana's son, and to the rest of the family and friends. I do wish that for each and every one of you, I send my love and my light. And please, if you have a neighbor who is harassing you, make sure you tell somebody. Let them know. Let them know that if something goes wrong, who is most likely the culprit. Had Dana spoken up and not been such a private individual, this person may have already faced justice. And I'm not blaming Dana. She was who she was, very dependable, very sweet and kind young lady, but she just was private. She was a very private individual. And I know that her family misses her dearly, especially her son. So I'll see you all soon with your next reading. Namaste.